Stugotz here for Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. I love Blue Apron. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Choose from a variety of new recipes each week, like miso butter salmon and lo mein noodles with cucumber and charmed tomatoes, or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Recipes are not repeated within a year, so you'll never get bored. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Stugotz. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Stugotz, Stugotz. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So, as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Chael Sonnen on the show with us today. Rosie Perez on the show with us later today. Going to talk about this fight. I would imagine. I'm curious here. I have in front of me a sound sheet that says, Dan, wrong about Mayweather-McGregor montages. What do you mean I'm wrong? How can I be wrong when Floyd Mayweather knocked out somebody for the first time this decade, basically? What am I wrong about?
You were wrong. I mean, you basically said you weren't going to watch the fight. You said the fight wasn't going to be very entertaining. You said McGregor had no shot, and he did have a shot, and the fight was wildly entertaining. The entire evening was entertaining.
How many times did you tell us McGregor's not even going to touch Mayweather?
I mean, he hit him once.
What?
He hit him once.
No.
Yeah, he hit him 100 times just on rabbit punches alone.
Oh, okay. He hit him once with an uppercut. All right, let's do this, and I'm going to watch my tone because I got to be careful here.
All right.
Yep. I am not going to tell you whether or not you should have enjoyed that fight. I understand the spectacle. I'm sure that the numbers are enormous. Just walking around seeing the bars that were 10 rows deep with people outside everywhere I went, the numbers are going to be huge. And because of that, what you're going to have, because this was a circus fight, you're going to have a whole lot of people wandering into the tent who don't know what they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they were told by others that there wasn't going to be anything to that fight, that McGregor had no chance, and he did have no chance. None.
Right.
They saw a fight that didn't have him knocked out in the first 3 rounds, not knowing anything about Floyd, not knowing that the Floyd they were watching is a 40-year-old fighter who was fighting unlike Floyd has ever fought a fight in his entire life going forward. Why? Because there was no punching power in that ring. None. On either side, there was no punching power in that ring.
I thought it was because McGregor made him uncomfortable.
Yeah. But you know what I had, Dan, especially in those first 3 rounds, and I didn't think, headed into the fight, headed into the viewing experience, I didn't think I was going to have this. I doubted. I started to think. I doubted whether or not Floyd Mayweather was going to beat Conor McGregor. And I had that for 3 to maybe 5 rounds, and that felt good, and that was interesting. And that made me feel like I got my money's worth.
And that was your ignorance speaking. That's not knowing anything about how Floyd fights. Nothing. That's knowing nothing
we're
about
off
how...
to a really bad start with the tone,
that's
man.
fine, and that's where we're going to be, because you could argue to me that you enjoyed that fight. You will not. You cannot and you will not argue with me that that's a good fight. Like, I'm not going to entertain that today. That's somebody that is arguing with people who don't know anything about what they're watching, and I'm not going to do it today.
Well, listen, I don't purchase a lot of fights. I purchased the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. That was not entertaining. What I purchased on Saturday night was infinitely more entertaining than that.
And I'll grant you that. And you know why I'll grant you it? Because you expected something from Pacquiao-Mayweather. You didn't expect anything from this. And the only difference is this was not a better fight than that. The only difference is where your expectations were. Because Floyd was fighting. I don't even know who that was. I'm watching him fight, and I'm like, he's going forward? He's going forward. Why is he going forward? Because he has zero fear that he's going to be hit with anything that hurts. Zero. And I don't want to watch Floyd fight that way. I guess I do against good fighters who can actually do something with it and knock him out. But he knew there was no chance of him being knocked out. He knew it so much that he made a bet or tried to make a bet all over Vegas for $400,000 that he would win in the 9th round by knockout because he knew exactly the way that fight went is exactly the way Floyd knew it would go.
Right. He took the under. He just got it in. Now, he did actually get it in. He tried to do it himself. They wouldn't take the bet. He gave the money to his friend, and they still didn't take the bet. They took a portion of the bet. He wanted $400,000. I guess he got $100,000.
No, but he didn't get it. I think he lost that bet because he had the knockout in the 9th round, right? And it was.
I'll check on it. I believe there was a certain time midway through that round that it had to be done by, and he came in like 10 seconds under.
Okay.
I guess.
So he just and I would have
Which
also.
makes you think he could have knocked him out whenever he felt like knocking him out, or maybe he carried him through parts of the fight.
But I feel like what people were doing in watching that fight is they forget that Floyd doesn't knock anybody out.
Right.
It's been 7 years since Floyd knocked anybody out, and even that wasn't a legitimate knockout. So the idea that you guys are telling me I'm wrong when Floyd knocks somebody out, when Floyd never knocks anybody out. Floyd has no punching power. Floyd's a defensive fighter. So you guys can sit here and tell me all you want about how much you enjoyed that fight. Just don't tell me it was good boxing, because it wasn't. And
it was good entertainment.
It was a good time.
That's what it was. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, but you can do that. There was somebody in the crowd there who was having a good time who didn't even know where he was because he was so coked up. That was all over Instagram. He had a good time too. He doesn't know what he was watching. He just thought that guy all over Instagram going viral because he's clearly on cocaine, thinking that nobody notices he's on cocaine.
We're ordering fights for good times, though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're not ordering these for the sweet science.
Oh, no, you're not, and I get that. But when I watch boxing, that's what I'm watching boxing for. I do want to watch.
Since when did you become sweet science guy?
I love Floyd Mayweather. I love watching Floyd Mayweather fight. I'm not the one who's bored by his fights. I'm the one who's marveling at the idea that nobody ever hits him and how hard that is and how amazing it is that that guy can do that in that sport.
You appreciate, like an artist, you see things like, so you see boxing in a way that most of us don't?
I don't understand how he does it. The appeal of Saturday night to me is Conor McGregor going to go in and try to invent a new way to fight? Is he going to come in like an orangutan, like just sort of with one arm over his right? Like the appeal is he going to develop another way of fighting? And he's just going to, and no, he's going to try and just box him. And oh, look, he's just an amateur boxer.
I can't wait for the rematch, man. It's going to be exciting.
So happening.
I'll tell you what.
Weekend.
Yeah. If they want to trophy $199.99, I am in. Yes.
Are you kidding? They can fight 100 times, and Conor McGregor will never hit him with anything.
No,
Puncher's chance.
Yeah, McGregor figured stuff out.
All right, put it on the poll. Would you watch McGregor Mayweather again?
So much fun. So much fun.
I'd watch it every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, and what you'd be watching is that would be the result every time. Every time Floyd will just wait till he gets tired and then knock him out.
Do you know what I'm stuck with every weekend? The Jets. I'll take that every single weekend.
All right, I'm not going to.
I feel like he can improve his second fight.
Yeah, sure.
He had him on the ropes.
Right.
Imagine at what point Floyd, his back was touching
Floyd
ropes.
likes to be on the rope.
Well, wait a second. Imagine if Conor took this thing seriously.
Yeah.
And trained for like a year. Seriously.
Yeah, just a rope. Right.
Now he knows how to box.
Yeah. Plus, he's got $100+ million in the bank. He doesn't need to go back to UFC if he doesn't want to. Just train for the next fight, for the rematch, part 2.
It might have been the easiest fight of Floyd's career. How do you guys have me being wrong about that fight? I don't even understand how it is that you guys have arrived in the place that I'm wrong about it.
Everyone had a great time. We all enjoyed it. There isn't a single person that didn't have a great time that went to a fight party.
Okay, I did say you were going to be bored. I'm surprised you weren't bored.
No, it was entertaining. They were going at each other.
Yeah.
You're over here like it's a bad thing that Floyd Mayweather started going at somebody and you didn't recognize it? Good. I've been waiting for that Floyd Mayweather.
No, but the reason he was able to do that is because he was fighting an amateur.
Fine, and that amateur got a couple shots in.
He did. Yeah. Won the first 3 rounds.
Because Floyd didn't do anything.
Come on, man. You didn't think McGregor was going to win the first 3 rounds.
Right, but hold on a second.
You thought that would be rounds.
Look, this is what you guys are doing, though. And this is what's amazing about what you guys are doing with reduced expectations. Those first 3 rounds were total garbage, and you guys are sitting
Garbage.
No, man.
Garbage.
No, how is it garbage? You have
Floyd wasn't doing anything.
You have one of the biggest underdogs in sports history hanging with one of the greatest boxers we've ever seen, and he won the first 3 rounds. You're trying to tell me that was bad?
If I gave you those exact same 3 rounds, and I told you Floyd was doing what Conor was doing, you guys would say this is boring.
No.
But because
No. Floyd wasn't doing anything.
It was captivating.
The first 3 rounds were unbelievably boring. They didn't do neither one of them.
Conor was doing everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Floyd was fighting Conor's fight.
I mean, Floyd wasn't doing anything. I'll tell you what he was doing. He was losing.
You can't have it both ways. Conor won a third of that fight.
Wait a minute. I got to show people behind the scenes what's happening here, okay? I got to show people. All right? Listen to this.
Oh, no.
So during all of that noise, what I'm looking at is Guillermo with the single worst Marlins cap I've ever seen. He is doing the Conor McGregor where he's just sticking out his tongue, all right? He's sticking out his face with his tongue out, and he's like telling me how entertaining that is. And right next to him, Fats and Info is breakdancing for some reason. And I don't know. He stands up, Fats and Info stands up and starts breakdancing. And really, what I want to say to you, the audience, and to them is you have the winning argument. Like, what can I possibly say?
Exactly.
I lose. I cannot win an argument against that.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Now you can test drive Snapshot to see how much you can save.
It's such a winning argument by you guys.
Don Le Batard.
Chris Cody is the man with the most refined taste in the shipping container. Your thoughts on this fight?
Stugotz.
I've always liked Conor.
Oh, my God. Flame out. Oh, man. I went to you. I tried to tee you up, Cody.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Catch me and Mike Golick Jr. every Sunday for our weekend observations. That's 4. And by the way, Clayton Kershaw's fine. I mean, I butchered that Sports Center. He's fine. His start went well, and he should start for the Dodgers pretty soon. A lot of people were asking for me to clarify that.
Well, you were blaming Roy too. On top
I did not blame.
Else.
I was inclined to blame Roy, but then I looked it over and I took full responsibility.
You apologized to him during the break, but in the middle of reading it poorly, you were staring at Roy as if he had done something wrong, when it was just that you read it poorly.
And I was staring back at him.
You were. It was a poorly phrased. I mean, Roy copied and pasted. It was poorly phrased, but that's not Roy's fault. That's whoever wrote it for ESPN. Catch me and Mike Golick Jr. every Sunday for Weekend Observation, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Select Quote. Free, personalized quotes in just 10 minutes. Call 1-800-533-4499 or go to selectquote.com.
Stugotz has his weekend observations in on time. We will do them in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Stugotz's weekend observations. We also have some delightful sound of Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith arguing about whether that fight was hamburger or filet mignon. And Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas are both making the argument that I'm making, which is, if you love boxing, that was not good boxing. But if you love spectacle, that was spectacle. And I just, I can't tell you what to enjoy. You're entitled to enjoy that if you want to enjoy it. But as a boxing match, it wasn't very good boxing. And so the guys are making fun of me, though. They're making fun of me during the break because they're saying of all the turns, the twists and turns that this show has made over the years, boxing purist Dan Le Batard is not one of them. I'm just telling you that I was not entertained by that fight. You can be entertained by it if you want to be entertained by it.
Right.
And
you were entertained by Pacquiao and Mayweather?
No, I wasn't entertained by that either.
All right.
Did you see this fight with a group of people?
Yes.
And they weren't into it, right? They were invested.
Not really, no.
What?
No. Man,
Well, it's hard to enjoy it when you're around.
Those guys. The guys I was watching with were really people who love boxing.
You were watching it with your cut man?
Yeah, I was watching it with my trainer and my cut man.
Weird.
You realize that if you were trying to fix that fight, that's a lot what it would look like if you were plausibly trying to fix it. Like, not somebody goes down by a phantom punch, but that's what it would look like. The better boxer wouldn't punch anybody for 3 rounds. He'd just sit there and wander around and let the other guy feel like he has a chance, and then as that guy gets tired, Why do you think Floyd was betting on himself to win or trying all over Vegas?
He has a gambling problem?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. And what else? Why do you think he was betting specifically on middle of the ninth round?
Because he knew he could knock him out
right.
whenever he felt like knocking him out.
And also, he's an action junkie that made $350+ million on pay-per-view buys, we all think, but he needed that $40,000 bet.
Right. Yeah. It is weird. It is weird what he does with that. He makes a lot of prop bets. He's betting. It's a terrible bet, even if you're the boxer, to bet on exactly the ninth round. Like, it's just...
Correct. Halfway through the ninth round, you have to, the referee has to be willing to call it, which he did, because if he didn't, then Floyd loses that bet, so...
But that fight went exactly as Floyd wanted. Floyd always wins, man. See, here's the thing.
Well, he's 50-0.
No,
so
but
yeah,
Floyd always wins in every way. Thank you, Stugotz. But he always wins in every way because he takes your money, and it doesn't matter whether you're entertained or not. I didn't mean he's 50-0. He always wins at boxing and he's undefeated.
Right.
I meant he always wins at everything. He's not that interested in entertaining you. That for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd actually said, "You see, guys, you've been wanting me to come forward for 49 fights. Well, I did it. Why? Because I'm fighting an amateur." You guys, for 49 fights, you guys have wanted me coming forward, and I never come forward. Why did I do it this time? Because he had no chance of actually hitting me.
Do you think all 49 previous opponents said, now you're going to go forward?
Yes,
really?
all
now
of them are like,
go
Floyd, why did you fight me that way? All of them. Floyd. The third round, 3 rounds of you're never going to throw a punch. Okay, I'll take that. If every fighter Floyd fought, he fought that way, Floyd Mayweather would be a bum. He'd be Broner. Like if he fought that way against everybody. But no, he fought the way that makes him money and gets him never hit. Like the idea that he's made that much money in a contact sport is the most impressive thing of my business sports lifetime.
Yeah.
That a guy that weighs 4 pounds can't knock anybody out. Keeps making $200, $300 million a fight when he doesn't have any punching power.
Everyone won, right? Mayweather won, actually won and won money.
Yep.
McGregor won while losing. The crowd won because they were entertained.
Yep.
I mean, except for you. You lost.
I was the only loser. I was the only
Dan
loser.
and his cut man were the only people that lost.
Yes. That guy who was doing blow ringside, that guy was a big winner.
It really is weird, Dan. Everyone had such a good time this weekend. The parties were great.
Put it up on the poll. Was it a good fight? Put it up on the poll. What do you think that's going to come back?
Well, was it a fun fight?
No. Was it a good fight?
Okay.
Was it a good fight?
I'd be willing to say it was a good fight.
It was good.
I'm fine with that.
It was good.
Put it on the poll. Because I think you guys think I think you guys think that your viewpoint is the only viewpoint because you're guys who are wandering over to this and don't care how Floyd fights. Don't care that those 3 rounds are totally uneventful and were terrible boxing. The guy that makes wacky faces wasn't knocked out, and so that was your standard. You guys had the standards in a really low place.
But I had within that first 3 rounds, and listen, for boxing purists, which until this morning we had no idea you were one of those guys, okay? I'm certain they probably, feel the same way about the fight that you did. But I had that moment where I turned to my wife, there were a couple of friends over, and we all had that moment, right, in the first 3 rounds where I said, Connor's going to do this. Connor's got a shot, and that's all I was looking for. Call me dumb, call me naive, call me whatever you want.
It's your ignorance talk.
But I had my moments.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And you could flaunt that ignorance all over the land.
We were all hoping for fun. And the boxing purists like Dan, up into the fight actually happened, during this whole buildup, were telling us how McGregor didn't have a shot. He wasn't even going to touch Mayweather. And 3 rounds in, McGregor's running.
You should be thanking me.
You helped. Yeah,
I
honestly,
lowered the expectations.
That attitude.
Yes,
that attitude was so in your face, Dan Le Batard, and boxing purists, because McGregor was winning that fight.
Right.
Maybe a 10-8. Yeah. Maybe that first round, I was screaming 10-8.
Yeah.
Well, he did win those fights the same way you were screaming.
I ran a lap. 10-8. 2 Modelo's in both hands.
You're screaming
10-8.
10-8. Okay, really. That's usually reserved for knocking a guy down.
For those people counting at home, that's 4 Modelo's in total.
This is the part, though. This is the part that's infuriating. Because you enjoyed it, you guys then feel emboldened to throw your knowledge in my face by doing things like shouting ridiculously 10-8.
Yeah, 10-8.
Yeah, 10-8.
Yeah, 10-8.
Lucky it wasn't 10-7.
And I like saying, "Oh, he's touching him." Not he got a good shot in.
Yeah.
Oh, he touched him.
Yeah.
He touched him because that's what I hear boxing purists like Dan
right.
say.
Yeah. Make a miss, make a
All right, Stugotz's weekend observations are next.
Don Le Batard.
I mean, my kids don't even like me anymore. That's the bad part. I mean, the one thing I had was my kids, was my twin girls, and they are mortified by me, by my mere existence.
Stugotz.
I mean, I went in that lake at camp over the weekend, took the shirt off, stuck the stomach out as far as I could, and cannonballed right into that lake. My girls asked me to leave afterwards.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We will get to Stugotz's weekend observations in a second. Remember, we had those conversations about Tiger Woods and how could he not know that his infidelity was going to be a public thing, and how could he be so stupid? And it was because the rules changed on him literally while he was getting undressed. Like, he was caught with his pants down.
Yes.
Because we didn't do that before, and then the rules changed, and we started doing it to Tiger Woods. That's where Vontaze Burfict is living right now. He's like, I used to play football this way, and that way was fine, and that was always the good way, and I was the meanest, and I was the best, and now you keep changing the rules, and now I don't know how to play anymore. And so you've got to suspend me for 5 games because I don't know what you guys want. I thought, you just opened up a cage door and then sent me out there to go fight lions for 3 hours and then put me back in the cage. No?
Right. Hurt people, tackle people by any means necessary.
Now the rules have all changed, and it's like, Burfict. I wouldn't be surprised if Burfict retires. He's like, I can't do this under this condition anymore.
I can't play this game.
This is not this. What is this? Time now for Stugotz's weekend observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Metro PCS. Get 2 free, awesome LG K20 Plus smartphones with 32 gigs of memory when you switch 2 lines to Metro PCS. Sales tax not included. Dan, we are just 13 days away from finding out if the Raiders are for real. To the people of Parkland Golf and Country Club who are calling security guards all kinds of nasty names because your new gate sticker isn't working. You are entitled and you are gross, and I know who you are. Do it again. I start calling you out by name on national radio. You've been warned.
Okay.
Floyd, meh, weather. Headline over the weekend for one NFL team. All 5 starting spots on the offensive line are up for grabs. Guess who? Yep, you guessed it. It's the New York Jets. Jordy Nelson said he's playing 2 to 4 more years. Jordy, don't want to tell you what to do with your life, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'd play as long as your quarterback plays. Congratulations to Chris Hogan on becoming Julian Edelman. I've never cared for anyone the way Tom Brady cares for Julian Edelman. Tom Brady, Instagram post about Julian Edelman. Tom, don't you think you're overdoing it? Just a touch? It's football. People get hurt. Even Patriots. Get over it. Jordan Spieth, best putter I've ever seen. Dan, I'm pretty sure the federal government could have ended the war on drugs this weekend by merely making the crowd at Mayweather McGregor empty their pockets. And to the dude in good seats with the black hair who kept rubbing his nose and chewing his gum more aggressively than Pete Carroll. You played it totally cool. Nobody noticed. Marlins Indians.
This guy was on so much cocaine. So much cocaine.
Marlins Indians World Series collision course. Voters, I dare you to not give the NL MVP trophy to Giancarlo Stanton. You know what the Marlins have, Dan? Something brewing. You know what Christian Hackenberg is allergic to?
Don't the Brewers?
No, the Marlins have something brewing. The Brewers had something brewing. They are no longer brewing. The Marlins are now the new
My bad.
brew crew.
I'm sorry.
because they have something brewing.
Okay.
You know what Christian Hackenberg is allergic to? The starting job. I'm not sure there's an amount of money you could pay me to run across the middle and be completely lined up by Landon Collins. Who am I kidding? I do it for $100,000. Fine. $50,000. Fine. $10,000. Fine. A $25 gift certificate to Chili's.
I'll do it. Sold. Let's set it up. Let's set it up.
Queso cheese. Oh, my God. It's the best thing. Can you call it queso cheese? That's redundant, right? It's
Queso
just
cheese
queso?
is redundant.
It is.
That's right. Queso cheese.
Are you surprised I noticed that? It's just queso.
That's right.
It's not queso cheese.
That's right. It's queso.
Chips and queso.
Yeah.
Queso cheese. Cavs, don't be stupid. Take the Nets pick. He's leaving. Guys, I know you're not going to believe this. Huge stunner. FS1 has signed Danny Kanell. Who could have predicted that? I mean, seriously.
I mean, honest to God, FS1. Honest to God, man.
Couldn't see that one coming. I mean, seriously. Dan, think about it. In the history of the NFL, there has never been a team that has had all 5 offensive line jobs up for grabs with less than 2 weeks remaining until the start of the season. Stephen A. Smith refuses to acknowledge Mayweather's victory over Conor as a real win. Still has him at 49-0. Stephen A., congratulations on also having your own personal record book.
I thought you were going to have him with the Stugotz is strong in you, for sure.
And that was the next one.
Oh, my fault.
The Stugotz is strong in you.
I ruined it.
That's okay. I was lying. Manny Pacquiao, in response to Floyd Mayweather tweeting, "Talking doesn't win fights," said, "But running does." Congratulations to Manny for finally landing a punch on Floyd Mayweather. No one has done more for Bryce Petty's career than Christian Hackenberg, Christian Liefenberg, Jamarcus Hackenrussell, Achilles Smithenberg, Johnny Hackenzel. Hey, LaShawn McCoy, is Kaepernick still a distraction? Shady. Mitchell Manningsky, Mitchell Farvisky, Mitchell Trinitis, to the dirty boxer who won the fight before Mayweather McGregor. Your boxing shorts, way too poofy. Did Kevin Durant think winning a championship that, I'll remind you, he didn't win, in my personal record book, meant we would care about his opinion on everything? Durant said the Thunder getting Paul George was ballsy. What do you know about ballsy? If leaving the Thunder to join the Warriors because you weren't good enough to beat them yourself is considered ballsy, then my apologies. You, sir, are an expert. Alabama, Florida State, play-in game. I mean, seriously, it's not like it's just a left guard. 13 days before the damn season. Both guards, both tackles, and even the center. It's absurd. The Broncos downplayed an altercation with Aqib Talib and another teammate. I'm pretty sure at this point, as it relates to Talib, the Broncos are fine with anything that does not involve a weapon. Jason Witten.
I think they'd be okay if he pistol whipped somebody.
They were actually okay with that alleged shooting himself.
I think they're okay. Right. I don't think that's accurate. I think they're okay with certain weaponry.
A nightclub in Dallas involved the weapon.
As long as it keeps scaring everybody and stealing, Crabtree's chain.
Stand corrected. Jason Witten says he sees a young Tony Romo in rookie quarterback Copper Rush. Poor Jason. Just can't move on. Can't believe Olivia Munn went from Aaron Rodgers to Willie Beeman. Demi Lovato has a set of pipes. The Association of Ringside Physicians, who said Conor shouldn't get in the ring, that it's too dangerous. Get another job. One was quoted as saying, "Our biggest fear is that someone could get really hurt. The only thing that got hurt was your reputation." Mayweather, McGregor, best $99 I've ever spent. Has anyone ever done so much winning while losing than Conor McGregor? Smoothie King, Angel Food Smoothie, Heavenly. If Art Briles had a smoothie named after him, it'd be called Devil's Food. And it would be the smoothie that they serve in hell. Dan, those are the weekend Observations.
Olivia Munn is dating Jamie Foxx?
She went to the fight with Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
Don Le Batard.
Mike, how'd you feel that went? Was that okay for you?
No, what do you think about it? What do you think? Since you think you're being smart a little bit about it, what do you think I went?
No, not being smart. I would not do that to Mike Tyson. I'm not being smart. No, sir. I say it in the most respectful way possible.
Well, you're the interviewer, so you tell me how it went, buddy.
Stugotz.
I'm sorry if I've upset you, Mike. Thank you for being on with us.
No, you didn't upset me, because if you upset me, you would have known about it.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does Tom Brady feel guilt about slowly killing Edelman and Welker? Yes or no? I wasn't expecting a laugh there.
Well, it's a good theory. It's a theory I haven't heard before, and I'm not certain I disagree with you.
He's got to know, right? He's got to know that his passes, the way that Edelman and Welker were built, which is they are the dog that will go get the Frisbee no matter where it is thrown.
Yeah.
The way that those guys are physically built and the attitude with which they carry themselves, they will go break their body on behalf of getting him 4 yards.
Correct.
And he sleeps in his bed at night knowing all the rules are different for him. Nobody ever hits him that way.
Right, honey, can you believe what I'm doing to this poor Welker guy?
Like, seriously,
Yes.
He's turning over. He's sitting at Giselle. He's got to wear this great Gazoo helmet from the Flintstones because I've done so much damage to his brain, because he will go get the football wherever I throw it, no matter where he has to stick his head, even if it's in a wood chipper.
It's involuntary manslaughter at best, honey.
I feel like he should be convicted. I feel like that should be the next investigation. You guys wanted to get carried away with Deflategate and all that nonsense, and the real one needs to be the conscience of Tom Brady as he clearly, slowly murders Edelman and Welker. It takes many years, and it's hard to prove, but if we could just get Giselle on that stand, I think she would tell us.
She's proven that she'll talk.
That right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
If we
yes.
if we could get her
Or
on
you
that.
just get a cell phone in her face after a Super Bowl.
Yes, that's right. That's right. He can't catch the ball too. I feel like Giselle will admit she's a loose cannon. She's a real wild card.
She's admitted to
in this trial that we're creating. Yes, you don't know her testimony that day. We're all watching in court TV. Like, her testimony is going to be really the waited for testimony as we find out whether indeed it's involuntary manslaughter. Maybe it was voluntary manslaughter. For all we know, Giselle might get convicted. She's been telling Tom to go out there, manipulating him to go out there and go kill them.
Accomplice.
We don't know.
Wasn't she ripping Welker who dropped that pass? Wasn't it Welker? She made Welker feel bad.
What was the movie I saw the other day Dinner. It was a Richard Gere movie, Dinner. It wasn't very good, but in it, the wives were very clearly manipulating their husbands. Both husbands one of them committed murder, the other one delayed what was clearly the right thing to do in a political crisis because the wives were whispering in their ears. That's what's happening here. Giselle is actually, and I'm glad we could finally break this story. It took us a while, but I feel like we can now put it on the scroll. ESPN is reporting that Giselle, for years now, has been actively working to kill Wes Welker with Edelman, and her accomplice has been her husband. So I'm glad it's out there now.
Right. It's a good point you make on those two specifically, because they'll catch anything and they'll go 7 yards and they'll ram their head into something. Randy Moss wasn't doing that.
No.
No.
And Tom Brady doesn't talk about Randy Moss the way he talks about these guys.
No.
Because these are they are the dogs. You throw the Frisbee. Those dogs are going straight head first into the train. They will catch the Frisbee. Now, there will be nothing but guts and teeth on the railroad track and blood with a Frisbee, but that's what Edelman and Welker are. They will absolutely jump into a train to catch a 4-yard out.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Stugotz here for Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. I love Blue Apron. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Choose from a variety of new recipes each week, like miso butter salmon and lo mein noodles with cucumber and charmed tomatoes, or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Recipes are not repeated within a year, so you'll never get bored. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Stugotz. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So, as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
Don Batard.
Marriage, at some point, I think for a lot of people, they get down to, and this is really a sad part about marriage, where you're just having sex one day a week. And that one day a week is Sunday. And so I love Sundays, but I hate everything I have to do leading up till Sunday, which is essentially agree with everything my wife says and does everything she asks me to do. And I'm only doing that for the Sundays. Because if I don't do it, there ain't no Sundays. And I can't live without my Sundays.
Stugotz.
I wonder if Abby hates Sundays.
Oh, she despises them.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I'm not sure. During your weekend observations, I believe you called someone named Cooper Copper.
Yep, I've corrected that via Twitter.
And I just want to make sure, because you got that wrong, that China didn't win the Little League World Series, and it was indeed Japan. I just want to make sure.
Was indeed Japan.
Yep.
Okay.
12-2 final over Texas.
Okay.
Nice little story with Texas. They got out to a 2-0 lead, and I thought maybe they would win, and they were playing for the entire state of Texas because of the tragedy that happened there over the weekend and flooding and all that stuff. 2-0 lead, and then Japan just steamrolled them.
Mercy rolled them.
Yep.
Mercy ruled them.
Yep.
I want to talk about a handful of things here, Stugotz, but one of them that I want to talk about, Rosie Perez is going to join us at 12:30. Chael Sonnen going to be on with us in the noon Eastern hour as well. But we talked to David Simon, the creator of The Wire, last week. Mm-hmm. And among the things that he told us is that nobody was watching The Wire while it was being made, and that he had to fight and he had to lose his bleep to get seasons 4 and 5 made because he wanted to finish the story and nobody was watching. Right. And Game of Thrones, while it's become a phenomenon now, and many of you are frustrated that you've now got to wait 18 months because those undead are going to be tough to beat, you are watching something that has been grown over a long time. Game of Thrones wasn't immediately what it is today. And what I wanted to ask you about is how and when these things pop, because Mike introduced me to a show on Netflix where Jason Bateman is directing a show. It's called Ozark, and I just saw the season finale last night, and it's really well done. And it's a poor man's Breaking Bad because it's missing on a couple of notes trying to achieve some of the same things that Breaking Bad does. And some places it's heavy-handed, so it's not quite Breaking Bad, which was a work of art and perfect, but it might grow into it, because it's just the first season and it's going to get picked up for a second season. But I'm just curious, like, what are the things that are allowed to pop and how do they pop? Because word of mouth is how all this stuff ends up spreading. Like, all the way that you want to be popular on this stuff is just make sure that your friends are talking about it, that people are talking about it somewhere. It's more valuable than advertising. If you asked me right now, which I'd rather have, I've got a $100 million movie coming out this weekend. What do I want? Commercials? Or people talking about it? I'd take the latter. I'd save my budget 100%. Because I want people coming out of the theater. That's how Get Out got that popular. Get Out didn't have a marketing budget. Get Out didn't have any kind of budget. It was just people leaving the theater and saying, hey, you got to go see this movie. And so I'm wondering, though, how does it happen? How is this going to happen with Ozark, if it happens with Ozark? Because certainly Bateman's got experience doing very smart shows that don't quite catch. And this isn't smart. This one's artistic, and it's in a genre that we love, which is it's just drugs. We just love the Scarface, Narcos, people breaking the law. For Sopranos,
it is a very intense show.
Right, but I guess this is the way it happens, where people are talking about it, then people who have, platforms start talking about it, and then it becomes more and more popular.
But I just remember that Breaking Bad, while it caught me from the opening scene and was one of the few things that I've just binge watched like that, because it became something of a crack addiction. I think that's happening to everybody now, but I'm wondering what the point is that Ozark gets the hook in you and then becomes that show, because it's not there yet, but it is. Those 10 episodes flew by.
It's very rare for a show to do it with its first season. Typically, you have to wait till people catch up and binge, and then you get a buzz before the premiere. Westworld is really one of the few shows that take immediately. True Detective the same way, just because I think a lot has to do with HBO's scope and investment.
But Westworld lost me. Westworld, halfway through, I lost interest in Westworld.
Why?
Because it was big. It was big topics that were hard to chew, and I didn't want to think like that while watching television, like layers of worlds. Game of Thrones is easier. Breaking Bad, easier. The Wire makes you think about things, but just easier.
Well, you can approach Game of Thrones two different ways. You can enjoy it as a popcorn show, which I sort of do. Even though I've seen every episode, I still don't know people's names. Or you can really immerse yourself in the world. And I think Westworld, to a degree, is sort of like that, too. Yeah, there's a lot going on, too. But, hey, it looks cool.
Mm-hmm. And that's what got me in there. But Allison's been trying to get a hold of Jason Bateman for a while, because I thought this was an interesting creative project for him to tackle, where not only is he the star of it, but he's directed at least some of the episodes. I don't know how many of them. And it's beautiful to look at. Like I saw the finale last night, and it just crescendoed in a way that you want. It reminded me, first of all, it's clearly ripping off Breaking Bad. Like, it's trying at the beginning to come in and hit you with 2 minutes of shock at the beginning, then they go to break, and then they start their show. They hit you with something strong at the beginning, and the endings of their episodes are really strong.
So the way they formatted it, you're saying, is they kind of took it.
It is. It feels like an homage to Breaking Bad.
You can't escape the comparison. Anytime you have a sort of good guy gone bad and there's a drug dynamic, it's inescapable at this point.
But how did Breaking Bad pop? When did it pop? Was it when? Because
it was
a lot
just
of people were talking.
No, but it was word of mouth over years that then just built. It's the same way The Walking Dead built, where people are talking about it and then they start missing it. It's Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones people must be crazy right now that they've got to wait 18 months to see how the hell you beat. How do you combine armies and beat the undead, man? We need to be analyzing this. Like, how do you do that?
Right.
What's the game plan?
I like that show.
Keys to the game.
Right.
How do you do that? They've got a dragon now.
Yep.
They got a nice dragon. What do you do?
Not up to.
Spoiler alert. Oh, wait, spoiler alert.
Haven't
People not
caught up,
know
man.
that?
That was
No,
a
wait
season
a minute.
premiere last
Wait a minute. Season finale last night, not the season premiere.
Season finale.
If you're a Game of Thrones person, it's incumbent upon you to watch that as it's happening, because it's going to get ruined.
Yes.
Going to get ruined.
100%. But with Breaking Bad, it was interesting because I remember Roy discussing it, and Roy was the one who was telling us, hey, there's a really good show.
Well, but that's how it has to happen. That's
then
how
you
all
watched
that
it,
stuff,
then Mike watched it, then everyone started talking about it.
No, but that's how it happens. That is, Malcolm Gladwell wrote about the tipping point and how young people make things popular. And the way that this show got infected with Breaking Bad is because Roy said probably 8 or 9 times, you guys would like this show. And that's how that stuff becomes popular. But what I'm telling people who are listening to this show is that you will like Ozark. If you are someone who has the sensibilities of this show, then Ozark on Netflix is something that you will consume very quickly.
For something to pop, it needs to get to the point where the masses feel like they're missing out and not having these conversations with other people. Mm-hmm. You want to be part of the cool crowd.
Well,
Everything is high school.
Right. Well, that's why people are watching the fight on Saturday. Like, can we get some numbers, please? Because I saw what was happening here on the beach, Stugotz.
Crazy.
It was nuts. Just where establishments that are showing the fight are going to great lengths to curtain their storefronts because of the number of people gathering outside trying to watch the fight for free from outside, and bars being full and rows deep. I don't even remember that for Pacquiao Mayweather.
It usually takes a little bit of time for all sorts of pay-per-view numbers to roll in, and there were certain outages, and that has to be figured out. It was interesting though, because remember, some movie theaters were showing the fight, and the fight hauled in just in movie theaters alone, in 534 theaters, $2.6 million. It was a box office hit.
Wow.
What are the rules for spoilers on Game of Thrones? Because Mike forgave us there and forgave himself, but I think we ruined it by not saying spoiler alert and then saying there's an ice dragon.
The dragon's kind of a big deal.
You know what? Yeah. I know Herm Edwards did this a couple of weeks ago on Mike and Mike. You know what? If you love the show that much, watch it live.
Well,
watch it when it happens. No,
Guillermo,
I'm sorry. Watch it when it happens.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is informing people that the Night King now has an ice dragon something that has to be preceded by a spoiler alert?
I got so mad at one of the stars of this show. Nobody watches this show. This is not a show that popped and took over, because I think it was only available on AT&T platforms, but it was an MMA show called Kingdom. Unbelievable show. Just ended its run. And I follow one of the actors on Instagram, and he posted a picture of one of the characters seemingly dying. This was before the episode aired. That was his means of promoting it. Hey, everybody check this out. It was a huge stunner. Totally ruined the entire show.
Right. Okay, I didn't do that, though. I did not just do that. That's fine that you have a nice spoiler alert story, but that is not what I just did.
You did not do that.
No, I did not.
But you gave away a nice dragon.
Did you see, because the biggest star on Twitter from the Mayweather-McGregor fight was Dick Vitale. Did you see what happened with poor Dickie V? He couldn't get the fight. And he took a picture of him and the grandkids, and it was sad, in front of a blank television.
Oh, no.
And started ripping Frontier Cable Corporation or something. And it was really sad, and I felt bad for Dick. And people started to get behind Dick Vitale and tried to get the fight, and he still couldn't get it. So he did this sad picture, everyone blank faces, blank TV screen. He ended up going to his daughter's house, his son-in-law's house, who were having a party. And I just imagine, like, that couldn't be a good conversation, right? His daughter going to her husband, honey, I'm sorry. My dad's got to come over with a bunch of old people and a couple of grandkids.
I don't know if Dickie V is coming to your fight party. Is that good or bad?
Oh, it's awesome, baby.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. If Dickie V is crashing your fight party, it's probably good or bad for everything except his son or daughter, right? Everybody would love Dickie V crashing their fight party.
I think the daughter's fine. It's the son-in-law going, come on, honey, this is our night.
Right.
Yes.
So many things that surrounded the fight were better than the actual fight, but they only happened because of the fight. Dickie V's pay-per-view miniseries, because it went for a
this
while.
Picture's great.
It's amazing.
We're in panic mode. Waited all day for pay-per-view, a fight, not getting it. We can't get anyone on the phone, ! And Dickie V is holding on to his granddaughter in a way that he would if he were also not able to swim and drowning in the sea. Like, he is holding on to his granddaughter in a way that is scared. It's scared.
Look at how he's pointing at the television.
Yes, it's scared.
See what I'm talking about?
It's scared and old. There's a blank television, and he's holding on to his granddaughter.
You might as well be pointing at a kraken.
I mean, he would hold on to his granddaughter the same way if he had fallen from a cruise ship and she were a flotation device.
Look at me now. I'm getting paper.
He had 50 guests at his house.
Brought
him all over to the son-in-law.
Brought him all over to the son-in-law who just wanted to watch it in his underwear with Cheeto fingers in his underwear.
Don Le Batard.
That movie was good, man. 300? Roy, are you disputing? Roy, I will fight you. At Le Batard Show, Guillermo, was 300 good?
Stugotz.
I'll argue 300 is the best action movie of all time.
Oh, get out of here.
Fight me.
Get out of here.
Fight me.
I'll fight you with Tango and Cash.
Don't at me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The reason I'm laughing is because after all these years, Stugotz and his private shows still make me laugh. Stugotz, right before the microphones came on, he's just muttering to himself, and it's just a private show, and he's like, I don't know. I don't think I'd like Dick Vitale to be my father-in-law. What about at ESPN? Who's the person at ESPN I would most like to be my father-in-law, and who's the most person at ESPN I'd least like to have my father-in-law? He's just talking to himself. Like, he's like, I don't know. I'm just hanging out at home, and all of a sudden Dickie V's coming over, and he's my father-in-law, and he's bringing all these old people over with him. I don't want him over for the fight.
It just comes over whenever he feels like it. It's always unannounced. He just shows up when he wants to show up. Like, you would agree that Marty Smith would be a great father-in-law, right? He'd come in, he'd spin the kids a football. I mean, everyone would have fun. Life of the party. You'd be a great father-in-law.
Could be a little too much after a while, though.
Well, but here's the thing, right? Because I imagine a lot of people would say, man, it'd be great to have Poppy. Poppy would be a great father-in-law. But I'm about to tell you, the point you're making is, it'd be great for him to be your father-in-law. It wouldn't be great for him to be someone in my life as my father-in-law. And I'll tell you a story. Like I've told you a number of different times, right? My father, he just shows up unannounced. And I've had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops because of the amount of nude girlfriends who have not been okay with him showing up just announced. Or unannounced.
Unannounced, yes.
Unannounced. What happened?
I mean, you just name dropped how many nude girlfriends.
No, wait a minute.
I feel like you're just telling the story.
No. There's only been two. But I'm long-term relationships where I'm talking. My father just shows up and he doesn't say anything.
2 girlfriends or 2 of them that were nude?
2 girlfriends, 2 nude girlfriends at different times.
Okay.
There were just like,
but multiple nude occasions or just?
No, just 2 times.
Just so we're clear, you've had a total of 2 girlfriends.
No, I've had more than 2 girlfriends. I've had 2 girlfriends who have had nude objections to my father showing up unannounced.
Right, but only 2 girlfriends you've seen nude. Right. Crystal clear.
Okay. That's it. You've had more, but 2 that you've seen nude.
Are you guys, you're going to keep doing this with a lack of subtlety being 4 years old? Like, I got it the first 10 times you did it. You want to keep doing it?
Not anymore.
I'm just curious. Like, I feel like everybody got it already with a whole joke about, he doesn't have any girlfriends. Really? You like a girl? Like, are we done with that or are we going to keep doing it?
I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah,
all right.
Good.
Good.
You know what? Let's move on to talking about McGregor Mayweather. Let's just talk about McGregor Mayweather. I don't even feel like telling the story anymore.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about whether or not. Let's talk about the things that you.
Story, man. Now I want the story. I feel terrible.
Talk about the things that you guys enjoyed about the fight, since I don't want to get in anybody's way in terms of what it is that you guys enjoyed about the fight. You enjoyed watching Steve Harvey in a suit. You enjoyed watching Diddy in a cowboy hat. What else did you enjoy?
Michael Bay in between the cowboy hat and Steve Harvey's suit. J.R. Smith with not as good a seats as LeBron, even though he clearly went there with LeBron.
Right.
That's got to be awkward, right? To sort of tell people that someone gets to sit in front of LeBron, because LeBron's seats were just okay, right?
Steve Harvey was sitting in front of him. I would have thought that he would have gotten better seats than Steve Harvey.
But shouldn't put this on the poll, Guillermo? Should LeBron basically get front row wherever he goes? Yes or no?
I mean, to that though, where there's so much celebrity there.
Isn't LeBron a bigger star than Steve Harvey?
I don't know.
Steve Harvey
honestly, I don't know, man. Steve Harvey's got like 4 TV shows right now.
All right, put it up at Batard Show. Who's a bigger star, LeBron James or Steve Harvey? I think who's a bigger. Are you guys serious with this?
No, Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey's sitting on an empire. Not that LeBron isn't, by the way.
I'm telling you, he dominates Sunday nights. He does. He has 2 shows, back-to-back shows on ABC. He's got a daytime show.
He has 2 daytime shows when he put in the feud.
And then he hosts, like, pageants and stuff like that. Like, he's hosting big-time events. I think it's Steve Harvey.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
More people in America know who Steve Harvey is, and I can't even bring. I can't do this.
That's where you guys are with this.
I can't do this. But a lot of people who don't know LeBron James know Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Old white women, basically.
Who don't know? You can't be anybody and not know who LeBron. Who the hell doesn't know who LeBron James is?
People that are watching daytime television.
Wait a minute. You guys think there are a whole lot of old women out there who don't know the name LeBron James?
Yes.
But do know the name Steve Harvey.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, we'll resume this conversation next.
Don Batard.
Are you not alarmed by how much Stugotz ate last night?
Stugotz.
I had no idea. He ate a lot. He was pretty gross when I left. I had no idea that he went on this, grazing.
Well, here's the weird thing about Stugotz, too, though. When Stugotz eats here, he never finishes anything. I know because I'm always cleaning it up.
It's infuriating.
After he's left.
He leaves one wing.
No, but
in case someone wants it, I mean.
Just eat the wing.
I thought Roy always ate the leftover wing.
Roy always throws it away.
All right, I'm a slob.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We will get to this magical Stephen A. Smith, Teddy Atlas sound in a moment. They argue while not arguing. They're screaming. We don't know what they're screaming about, really, but I think it's a version of the argument that we've been having all morning, only better, more entertaining. But I think it's basically the same argument, right? They're saying that Floyd Mayweather, it wasn't a beautiful fight. It wasn't even a good fight. Spectacle, circus, enjoyable maybe, but it wasn't a good fight because Floyd Mayweather was able to move forward, didn't have to defend against anything because there was no punching power in that ring on either side. Because one of the guys, a 40-year-old guy who hasn't knocked anybody out in 8 years, and the other guy just there's no reason to fear his punching power.
Right. It was just a light jab, and then Floyd would move forward. A light jab, and Floyd would move forward.
But that's not how Floyd fights. Floyd does not fight offensively, bringing the action to somebody else. Floyd fights avoiding. He's the best defensive fighter ever.
But he promised entertainment, and he delivered. It was entertaining.
It
was away from his style, and he made it. Dan, it's more entertaining than him running around avoiding.
All right, yeah, if you say so. If you enjoyed it, I'm not going to try and talk you out of enjoying it. But we're going to play this sound for a second of Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas fighting. But before we get to that, we've talked before about this celebrity hierarchy as defined by Kid Rock, of all people. That Kid Rock, there's a pyramid of celebrity. And what he says is it's TV star, sports star, movie star, rock star. That's how we're climbing. Rock star, and then at the top is Michael Jordan. That's according to Kid Rock. And I just thought that LeBron was there now. That you're talking about Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's a TV star at the bottom of that pyramid of fame hierarchy. I thought that at the top of it was Michael Jordan.
Yeah, 3 rings to go for LeBron.
Okay. That's what it's going to take?
Yep, when he gets to 6, he'll sit in front of Steve Harvey.
He could be as famous as Steve Harvey. Okay.
Yep.
All right, put it on the poll, Guillermo, please. If LeBron James gets to 6 championships, will he be worthy of sitting in front of Steve Harvey at the fight? Very good.
He'll somehow have to make even if he gets to 6, he'll somehow have to make the final appearance losses. He'll have to make those go away somehow, because I'll remind you, Jordan went there 6 times and won 6 times.
Okay.
6-0.
Okay.
Perfect record in the NBA Finals.
Well,
how LeBron's going to do that. Erase the record books.
All right,
So 3 rings isn't going to be good enough.
He really needs 9 to compensate.
Stugotz just took it back. Yeah. Here it is. LeBron's going to hold up the trophy, on his 6th one. He's holding it up, and then while he's collecting the Finals MVP trophy, he's saying, "And thank you. Finally, I get to sit in front of Steve Harvey in a fight." And then Stugotz's like, No.
Nope.
No. Excuse me.
Get to 9.
Excuse me. And he brings out a calculator. He starts punching numbers. Nope, not yet. I got these Finals losses. Look, LeBron, here. You press the minus. Look, LeBron, I got some losses.
He needs to be +6 in the NBA Finals.
Oh, wow.
How many times has LeBron lost in the NBA Finals? Do we know? I think it's been 3 or 4 times.
It's 5.
5. So then, he needs to get to, I think it's
11 and 5.
10.
It'd be great if you got this wrong. And of course, there it is. All right. Very good.
So 7 to go.
All right, so let's play that sound of Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas screaming at one another. ESPN has to get into boxing more. ESPN is getting into boxing more, and this has to happen more. These are 2 guys who do not like to be interrupted. These are 2 guys who are used to talking at their leisure. These are 2 guys who right here are butting heads over something that doesn't merit headbutting, and they don't even disagree.
McGregor forced a gourmet chef to be a fast order cook. That's what he did. He forced a gourmet chef to be a guy.
Doesn't that make it fast food? I mean, you said that. Doesn't that make it fast food? Instead of a la carte steak? That's what I'm saying.
He made him go in there.
Listen.
And he made him flip cheeseburgers.
Listen.
He made him
there we go.
He made him do something.
Hold on, Teddy. Hold on, Teddy.
But his character allowed him still to walk the guy down.
Wait a minute, Teddy. What I'm saying to you is this. If you go to a restaurant to get some steak, some filet mignon, and instead you get a burger. Okay, ain't it a burger? I mean, it's just a burger. That's what we saw tonight. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
He made the adjustment to be what he had to be. He had to be that.
So, in keeping with that theme, and in keeping with the argument we've been having around here all morning, I am willing to concede to you that was a hamburger, and I am willing to concede to you that hamburger was delicious.
All right.
What I am not willing to concede to you is Do not tell me that hamburger was a steak, because it was not a steak. I'm just holding you to it. Stand over that flame broil, and you tell me it's a hamburger. And you tell me it's a good hamburger, and I'll tell you that's fine. It's a fine hamburger. Just stop telling me it's a steak.
I'm good with that, because you want to know why? A burger is more fun than a steak. A steak is serious. Business is being discussed over a steak. You know what you're doing when you're eating a burger, consuming a bacon cheeseburger? You're having fun and you're laughing with your friends, and that's what I did Saturday night.
That's right, and I'm with you. That was a tasty burger. I will grant you that was a tasty burger. Yeah. Just stop telling me that we were fine dining. Stop it.
I didn't want steak on Saturday night.
Fine.
I wanted a burger.
Right.
That's what I got.
All right, now we're in the same place. Now we're all in the same place.
Good.
It was a mighty tasty burger. I'll give you that. And it was,
wow.
Yes, that's
wow.
right. That's fine.
All right.
But it's 99-cent menu.
No.
I overpaid.
It was a $99 menu.
It was the $99 menu, but it was a delicious McDonald's cheeseburger, 99 cents. Delicious.
No.
Yes.
Come on.
Wait,
Hey.
no, they're delicious in the right. Was I hammered?
They're delicious if you have 99 cents.
Well, I was drinking a lot.
For $99, not as delicious. Not as delicious. Less delicious for $99.
Let's go. My private jet isn't going to fuel itself.
I'll take burger. I'm good with that.
But that's the source of our disagreement. You realize we're having the same disagreement they were having.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a burger, but at Ruth's Chris.
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh, man.
No, that's where I will fight you. No, it's not a high-class burger.
Oh, no, it was a high-class burger.
No, it was a cheap burger. Yeah. It was a cheap burger, and it's a cheap burger after a really fun night where you've been drinking. But it's a delicious burger.
No, because I went into the night expecting a cheap burger, and it completely over-delivered. So it's more like a Smith & Wollensky burger.
And this is where I'm saying and this is where I'm saying that your ignorance is speaking for you. You went into the night not knowing you were hungry. You went into the night feeling a little bit stupid. Then you drank and you smoked, and everything tasted better because it was more fun. That's what happened. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You are. I just drank.
Yeah.
Dan Le Batard.
What's the stat, by the way? It sounds like a dumb one.
Box plus minus.
Yeah. How about rings plus minus?
I mean, okay.
6 for MJ, 3 for LeBron.
Stugotz.
Put LeBron's rings in a box and then put MJ's rings in a box and tell me who has more. How's that sound? It's plus 3, by the way.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, can we just say it was a steak at Applebee's and move on? Absolutely not, texter.
You won't even give us a steak at Applebee's?
Nope, not even a burger at Applebee's.
How about Longhorn Steakhouse?
Nope. I reject it.
That's a good steak.
It's a good steak.
It's a good steak.
It's a good steak. It's a good steak.
Yeah, excellent.
Angel Resto, who does many of the graphics with my brother on this show, says it would be great on television to have puppets reenacting the Teddy Atlas, Stephen A. Smith argument. I would say we already did that. That's what we were watching with such delight on Saturday. I told you this story, right? Skip Bayless one time. I ran into Skip Bayless, and he was legitimately hurt because he went to a family gathering of some sort, and one of the kids wasn't happy to see that Skip Bayless was at the party. He wanted to know where that puppet was that Skip Bayless does the show with. The kid actually thought that Stephen A. Smith was a puppet. And Skip Bayless was hurt that he didn't think of him as a cartoonish puppet.
Oh, really?
That the kid
Ego got in the way here?
The kid only wanted to meet
one puppet.
The cartoonish puppet,
Right.
Stephen A. Smith. He thinks of Uncle Skip as a human.
Sure.
So is that a good idea to reenact with puppets? Guillermo's got a sock puppet back there. Do you guys have a second sock that can argue? This will be terrible radio, except we'll have the sound from Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas, so they will have the radio, and then on television. I don't know if it's a good idea.
It's a terrible idea.
All right, but regardless, it's delightful sound to play again and again.
It is delightful sound, but it's a bad idea. Bad show idea. Worst one since Despacito.
Two things, Stugotz. One, how did Despacito not win at the VMAs? Despacito did not.
It didn't?
No, it
Wow.
didn't.
Oh, the video was crap.
Amazing.
Remember, Video Music Awards, not Music Video Awards.
Song of the Year, though. He didn't show up, I'm sure. So one of the most successful songs in the history of music.
It's all very political, Dan.
Okay, thank you. Little Uzi Vert won Best Video, and it seemed like a robbery. Anyway, what I want to discuss with you, Stugotz, is two things. One, if you were fixing that fight and wanted to fix it plausibly, that's exactly what it would look like.
Sure. Yep.
From start to finish.
No doubt.
That is exactly how it would look if that fight were fixed.
There's a lot of people who think that Floyd carried him through, essentially 9 rounds, kept everyone entertained, everyone was happy, no one complaining about what they spent on the fight, and everyone got their money's worth.
Something that Floyd didn't care about with Pacquiao, because with Pacquiao there was a legitimate chance that he would lose.
Correct.
And so he didn't care. He doesn't care about putting on a performance when there's actually a threat.
Yep.
He simply wants to win, take the victory, take your money, not get hit. And people have criticized him for not being an entertaining fighter for that reason.
Sure.
Because when he's fighting against somebody who is legitimate, he stays back, boring fight, and all he's doing is trying to get to the end a winner without getting touched.
Yep.
So he's a defensive fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that I would say to you is that's also exactly how that fight would look when Floyd Mayweather is that much better than an opponent.
Sure.
That the game plan, the way that he structured it, it went I'll carry him for 5 rounds. He will get tired because he's not used to this kind of pace. He's going to get fatigued. And so everything went exactly as Floyd would have had it go, which is something that he can only do when he controls the circumstances so great that he doesn't have to fear the fighter that he's facing.
Dan, and I said this yesterday on our show, the show I did with Mike Golo Jr., even if that's the case, even if it was kind of all pre-planned, scripted, everyone was in on it, I don't care, because I was still entertained. Whatever script they came up with was an entertaining one.
Okay, well, but so what I was telling, that's fine. And so what it is that you guys spent a lot of money on Saturday, just know that it was wrestling more than fighting.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Stugotz here for Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. I love Blue Apron. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Choose from a variety of new recipes each week, like miso butter salmon and lo mein noodles with cucumber and charmed tomatoes, or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Recipes are not repeated within a year, so you'll never get bored. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Stugotz. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
Don Batard.
Michael Jordan never scored 70 in a game.
No, but he scored 60-something in a legendary playoff game that they won.
Stugotz.
They lost.
Did they really?
They lost, yeah.
Wow, breaking news.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Our nemesis, my nemesis, Chael Sonnen with us on ESPN Radio. I don't know how he feels about this fight. I don't know whether he feels any obligation to carry the UFC flag here and wave it, but we will find out now together how Chael feels about this fight. Thank you, as always, for making time for us. Chael, what did you think? Because I was talking before you came on here about how if you were actually fixing a fight, that's what it would look like. it would look a lot like that.
Dan, I loved it. And I was a naysayer before the fight started. The level of ridiculousness I'm well aware of, putting a guy that's never boxed against a guy that's never boxed, is borderline illegal. There's not a commission in the history of commissions that would sanction that kind of a disparaging record. They did it. I thought it was absurd. I loved it in hindsight. Conor McGregor was awesome. He went out. He took the fight right to Floyd like he said he was going to do. Offensively, it was 9 seconds. Imagine this, Dan. It was 9 seconds left in the first round before Floyd Mayweather moved an arm in a forward direction. He literally did not throw a punch. Conor shut him down so much. Second round, when Floyd finally threw his first combination, that's when Conor slipped outside, threw an uppercut, followed by a hook, followed by a straight, and everybody in the crowd, we all sit back and go, oh my goodness, this guy can also counterfight. It was amazing, and eventually he wore down like he should do, and Floyd took over. I had a totally different opinion than you did. I loved it. I hated it going in, and I loved it by the time it was over.
Man, it's refreshing to hear someone admit when they were wrong.
I was wrong. I thought it was all hype and smoke and mirror. I mean, it should be. Guys, on any level of logic, that fight should have been over in 30 seconds. Never even made to start with, but then secondly, should have been over in 30 seconds. I thought it was incredible because it shouldn't have happened like that. Conor McGregor went 10 rounds and was winning round after round against Floyd, regardless of what the incompetent judges of the Nevada State Athletic Commission said. Conor McGregor won a bunch of rounds.
Wait, but hold on, Chael. I think that might be part of the problem. Dan, do you feel like if Floyd wanted the fight to be over in 30 seconds, it could have been over in 30 seconds?
Did you hear what he just said, though?
Yes.
The judges don't have Conor winning any of the rounds.
I know.
And Chael and a lot of people watching have Conor winning a bunch of rounds, and I just feel it's because a lot of people who don't pay very much attention to boxing were sitting there watching. There was no punching power in that ring, Chael. The reason Floyd was able to move forward all fight, which he never does, is because there was no real threat of Conor actually ever hitting him well with anything.
Is that bad, though? Is that a bad thing? Because, and I'll admit to you, I am combining amateur rules a little bit. You know, the amateur rules, as long as you touch the guy, you're scoring points. I agree with you on the power. Conor connected a lot, and he did not damage or hurt Floyd in any way. That's a reality, what you're saying there. But, boy, he was active, and he was also slipping punches. Certainly you saw the stat that came out right after the fight. Manny Pacquiao landed a total of 100 punches in 12 rounds against Floyd. Conor landed 111 punches that counted, that scored, in less than 10 rounds. That's pretty remarkable.
Well, no, but the reason that was happening is because Floyd was actually going forward because he didn't respect Conor's power the way that he had to respect Pacquiao's. So he just fought a totally defensive fight because he didn't care. He was just trying to survive it against Pacquiao. He didn't care whether he was entertaining us or not.
I'm impressed by that analysis. I have to admit, I'm impressed with what you just said because you are right. I never considered that. You are right. The reason that fight looked the way it looked is because there wasn't the same power there, but there shouldn't have been. You've got an MMA guy. I can tell you as an MMA guy, we do not hit as hard as boxers in any position. All of Conor's supporters before the fight were saying Conor is more powerful than Floyd. All you have to look at, Conor's putting guys down, and Floyd hasn't put anybody down in a decade. It's like, well, no, it's a wrong focus group, okay? There's only 4 strikes allowed in that contest, a jab, a cross, a hook, an uppercut. Floyd hits harder than Conor, and all of those, he's just throwing punches. When you look at their previous fights, he's throwing punches at guys that are much better at absorbing, dealing with, and countering off of those punches. It was totally wrong focus groups, but, Dan, that added to why I appreciated it so much. I was looking at something that I did not think was going to be able to happen.
Well, let me ask you this, Chael, because I do believe that people are grading on a curve here because of reduced expectations, because people like you were saying what you were saying, which is this fight's going to be boring. What did you expect to happen that changed your mind? Like, did you really think that Conor was just going to get knocked out in a round or two?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought there could be an argument that Floyd would have to feel him out and, you know, realize the timing and the speed and the distance and some of that stuff for a couple of minutes. I didn't think going into this fight that even Floyd understood what an easy night he was going to have. I mean, these are two different animals. I started as a boxer. I went into MMA. I thought MMA was easier. That's why I went into it. And, I mean, it's just two different sports, but Conor was bigger than him. He wasn't afraid to fight. He came right out. He made it dirty. He came forward. He was a street fighter. Floyd turned his back in 4 of 6 rounds. Turned his back. You can't do that in boxing. And, you know, I didn't think the referee took very good control of that fight. From a fan standpoint, it was more fun the way the ref kind of let some stuff go. But, yeah, I mean, it was weird. And then watching the commission turn rounds in, only 1 for Conor, You know, like I said, in the first round, Floyd only threw one punch, and it was with 9 seconds left. The second round wasn't much better. The third round wasn't any better than that. They were getting ready to rob Conor McGregor. That should be the real storyline here. You know what? You want to know what's going to happen to those judges, Dan? Nothing. There won't be a meeting. There won't be a hearing.
So the storyline, you're saying the storyline should be that the judges were ready to rob Conor McGregor. That we're all talking about the wrong thing today.
Man, I don't know that we are. If that would have gone to a decision and it was every round for Floyd except one, we'd all be sitting here going, come on, man, this thing's fixed. The incompetence is unbearable. In boxing, we don't see it in MMA. We see a little controversy, but we don't see incompetence. Fight after fight after fight in boxing, you just go, geez, what are we doing here?
All right, Chael, so help us out here. If Floyd decided to try to beat Conor at his own sport, he goes into the octagon, how quickly would Conor end that fight?
Yeah, so that's what Dan was asking me a minute ago. You know, if you were to flip this coin around, it would be over in the first round without question. Floyd would have denied that. Nobody would deny it. That's what was so surprising from an impressive standpoint. I mean, look at Conor's courage just to walk in there, try to put himself in my shoes. If I was to walk in there and take the greatest boxer of my size, it'd be a horrifying proposition. And Conor went out and he did it for 30 minutes with the best ever. It was really, guys, it was amazing. Dan, I really hope with time this turns into like a fine wine for you where it looks better with time because it was an impressive event.
Chael, thank you for being on with us. I'm curious, who in the MMA, because a pure striker can't survive in MMA, who is the closest thing to a pure striker that has survived in the MMA? Like, who would you look at? I mean, is it Liddell?
Yeah, well, Liddell would be a good example, but the background on him, he was actually a Division I scholarship athlete in college. He wrestled for San Luis Obispo, so he did take those great striking skills over. Anderson Silva started with a striking background. Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar is probably the best boxer in MMA, but those guys all had a grappling background of some level. So I don't know that we've seen it.
My point is that you can't, no matter how great a striker you are, you cannot survive in that sport as just a striker, is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how great you are at it.
Certainly not. Yeah, that's correct.
But that's why Floyd wouldn't have any kind of chance.
No, Floyd wouldn't even try. No, he would have no kind of chance. He's a pugilist through and through. He has that in the contract for the media tour with Dana White, straight up fines and everything. Conor cannot touch me, cannot put a hand on me, because he makes no mistake of what's going to happen in the boxing ring. But he also makes no mistake if they get into some kind of a street fight, how that's going to end.
Chael, how long are you lasting if you go into a boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather?
He'd do fine, I think. I could have made it the distance, but that would have been a size thing. I wouldn't have been landing the same punches that Conor was, but it's just a speed issue. Floyd moves so well, and I think we did see a guy that was old and it said he's going to retire, and he should. But, you know, Floyd's wealth is greatly embellished. The only thing more embellished than him is his pay-per-view drawing ability. And he did this fight because it was a cash grab and he needs the money. He may be back. Thank you. You told us last time that McGregor's a knucklehead when it comes to spending too, right?
Yeah, he likes to go through it. I mean, his total cut when this thing's all said and done, and trainers and taxes and management and this and that, he's going to have about $50 million, which for most people we'd never see the bottom of. He will. He's going to need to keep fighting.
Chael, see you later. Good talking to you.
Kaboom.
Dan Le Batard.
They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can.
Stugotz.
They're talking sandwiches, going at it as hard as they can.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We'll get to the funniest thing from the sports weekend in just a second. But Stugotz, as football approaches here,
yep,
one of the things that I'm most excited about seeing this year, and you guys tell me if this is on your list of things that you're looking forward to as football thunders toward us, is the loosened celebrations. Like, I'm really looking forward to, now that the shackles are off on some of this antiseptic nonsense that they do in that league to scrub the personality out of it.
Of how creative guys are going to get.
Of how look at me guys are going to get.
Yes.
Like how they're going to test the boundaries with the group celebrations. How much is going to be done creatively there with the group celebrations? How much of there has there been of that in the preseason? Or is nobody wanting to waste their good material in the preseason?
I've seen some. There was a Lions touchdown that involved a big group celebration, and it was just refreshing to see. I imagine there's a lot of good material out there. I'm just excited for Odell Beckham because he's going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns if he's healthy, and him getting involved with other people. Stars are going to be made by this.
Yes.
Again.
That's the guy you're most excited to see, though, right?
Yeah,
because he's been working on him throughout the preseason.
I know he's a star. I'm excited about finding out new stars that, oh, look, there's a personality.
Kelsey's become that, right?
Yeah, Kelsey's fantastic. I mean, he threw a penalty flag at a referee last year.
But, I mean, we're going to get more, it's going to feel more like Any Given Sunday, right? It's going to, like, what are the things that are going to get guys fined or suspended? Are guys, because they could choreograph as much as they want as long as it's not, violent, right? As long as it's not throat slashing and bow and arrows, because, America's children can't handle that.
I wonder if my sensibilities have changed and how shocking I'll find it. I may be clutching my pearls the first time that a team just starts high-fiving each other.
I'm checking out the new rules here because I want to see how far guys can go. I'm pretty certain there are restrictions here. They can't just do anything.
No, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of fun and creative stuff done because they are unshackled. The rules are totally different now when it comes to group celebrations. They can fool around with stuff. They're going to carry guys around. What are the rules? They're not allowed to. Somebody's going to be carried off the field like Cleopatra, right?
You can use the football as a prop after a touchdown. Celebrating on the ground is allowed. Group demonstrations are allowed.
Unless you kneel near a flag, then they're
less allowed. Correct.
We couldn't make a show without a Kaepernick.
Right? Oh, I tried. I tripped up. I tried. I'm sorry.
I love the release that Goodell sent out when it originally happened. We know that you fans love the spontaneous displays of emotion that come after a spectacular touchdown. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And what took you so long?
The kind that I have systematically been trying to eliminate during my entire reign of terror as I try to make everything in football look like the strip ball closest to you.
I feel like spontaneous might be a buzzword there, and they still might be fining and suspending people. Not suspending, but penalizing people for orchestrated and planned out.
Yeah, the first Patriot who removes his shirt to show one of those barstool shirts of Roger Goodell with a clown nose, that's going to be less spontaneous and fined. Time now for the funniest thing from the sports weekend.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
Chris, what do you got, Fats and Info? What's the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
The Jacksonville Jaguars naming Blake Bortles as their starting quarterback this season.
That's very good. Nice work by you.
Good one.
I am judging from the look on Stugotz's face that you took the one that he wanted to take there.
Yep.
Guillermo, what did you believe was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
After Saturday night's fight, Stephen A. Smith was telling anyone that would listen that he's not counting that fight as the 50th win for Floyd Mayweather. A couple hours later, he put up on Twitter a picture of him and Floyd Mayweather with the belt, and the caption is 50-0.
Yes, okay, very good.
Caved in, huh?
Okay, let's see here. Hold on a second. Can you play the sound real quick, Mike, of Stephen A. Smith saying that Mayweather is simply not 50-0? It's not he will not. He's not willing to acknowledge this is a victory any more than WrestleMania on his ledger. We'll come back to that. Roy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Floyd Mayweather walking out to the ring wearing a ski mask.
That's right, looking like he's ready for a sexual bondage episode or just to steal your money.
He looked like that character on Sábado Gigante.
Yeah, Chacal.
Mike, do you have the sound of Stephen A. Smith saying that Floyd is not 50-0 according to him?
This is a win-win, right? McGregor does himself proud.
Yeah.
And Mayweather did enough to go out 50-0.
Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't say 50-0. I may disagree with a lot of people.
You're not going to count this one?
I'm not counting this as 50-0. I think we saw that Mayweather was in the ring with someone who never boxed professionally before, and that's not taking any credit. Conor McGregor deserves a lot of credit for surviving this long, taking a punch, showing his conditioning, etc. He did some things that were good, but ultimately he is not a boxer. He is a fighter. That's what I saw tonight. Floyd didn't capture 50-0 against a boxer. He caught it against a fighter. Y'all can go ahead and count that y'all want to. I'm not doing it.
Until I take a picture with him later in the day, and that's when I will approve of his 50-0.
I'm running with, I don't know if you've seen this photo, but it appears as though, just for the moment, Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson have buried the hatchet.
Oh, man. I mean,
they were hanging out.
Yeah.
They were hanging out.
Well, but what was happening there where Richard Sherman was just standing in the photo and Russell
Wilson looked like Bulworth.
But he was making gang signs, wasn't he?
Well, there's the West Side. Yeah, he was doing West Side, which is not necessarily a gang symbol, as it's so much a dated hip hop reference, and everything going on with Russell Wilson's wardrobe was basically a dated hip hop reference.
Okay,
he looked as though Steve Martin was trying to get laughs by dressing up like a knockoff of Bulworth.
No, it was funny. It's a funny photo.
If you were to ask an old white man to make a movie about being hip and cool, they would pick that outfit.
The Russell Wilson outfit.
Yes.
Yes, it's excellent. Stugotz, what do you like? What was the funniest thing from
Has anyone said Vontez Burfict? Because everyone else has stolen my nominee. No? No one? Okay. Vontez Burfict, Dan. We were just talking about touchdown celebrations. He had a pick six against Kirk Cousins, and he jumped into the first row of the Washington crowd and just started dancing, and it was glorious. Have you seen this?
No.
Like, he dove into the first row on the road and just started dancing with the home crowd kind of getting on him, and he did not care. He doesn't care about anything. Vontez Burfict.
This is my funniest thing from the sports weekend.
Thanks for stealing them.
McGregor forced a gourmet chef to be a fast order cook. That's what he did. He forced a gourmet chef to be a guy.
But doesn't that make it fast food? I mean, doesn't that make it fast food? Instead of a la carte steak? That's what I'm saying.
He made him go in there.
Listen.
And he made him flip cheeseburgers.
Listen.
He made him go. He made him do something.
Whoa. Hold on, Teddy.
But his character allowed him still to walk the guy down.
Wait a minute, Teddy. What I'm saying to you is this. If you go to a restaurant to get some steak, some filet mignon, and instead you get a burger. Okay, ain't it a burger? I mean, it's just a burger. That's what we saw tonight. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
He made the adjustment to be what he had to be. He had to be that.
Rosie Perez next.
Don Le Batard.
Give me the musician that John Oates right now would pay top dollar because he has to see that musician.
Chuck Berry.
Stugotz.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can't do that.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Mike, did Russell Wilson lose a bet? Because he might have lost a bet. There's no way that a woman as stylish as his wife would let him leave the house that way. Like, he must have lost a bet. Had to have.
I think he's just trying to fit in, man.
That's not fitting in with anybody. He looks ridiculous.
Whatever. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Rosie Perez is going to join us in just a second on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We enjoyed the time we spent with her on Friday. She was fantastic. And she's very happy about Mayweather getting the victory. She predicted it. Here's your SportsCenter update. So did everyone else, though. Giancarlo Stanton became the first National League player in 10 years to reach 50 home runs as the Marlins swept the Padres with a 6-2 victory. The Marlins are now 3 games over 500, 4.5 games out in the wild card spot for the National League. Very exciting down here in Miami. The FedEx Cup got off to a rousing start with Dustin Johnson defeating Jordan Spieth in a playoff at the Northern Trust. And finally, a lemon will float in water, but a lime will sink. For all the latest headlines and information, tune to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Talked to her last week about boxing, do the right thing, about her career, but want to talk to her some more today about boxing. Rosie Perez with us on ESPN Radio. Thank you again for making the time for us. So what did you think? Were you everything you said was going to happen is what happened, but did you enjoy it or did you have fun?
I had a blast. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. But it was a very fun spectacle, which I would say. But I felt that Conor McGregor and Mayweather made it much more competitive than people thought it would be. It really was. And I thought that Conor McGregor was just outclassed. You know, he really was. And I give it to him. I give him respect. The first 2 rounds, he was really getting in some shots, but he just didn't understand Mayweather's game plan. Like, Did his team watch the tapes? I mean, seriously, Mayweather always figures his fighter out in the first 4 rounds, and then he goes in for the kill. Even when he went to his corner at the end of the 3rd, Mayweather Sr. said the 4th. And I was like, oh, my God, he's going to pour it on. And he did. He started using the tactic of he just walked him down. I don't know if you guys understand what that means. Of course you guys understand what that means.
I'm not used to seeing him fight that way. I can't remember the last time I saw him fight that way.
Me too. And this was his first TKO since what? It was Ricky Hatton,
since
2011. Yeah, 2011. I mean, the one with Victor Ortiz didn't count.
You're right. Ortiz is the last one technically, but Hatton, you're right.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton. And so, Mayweather had to bring it to him. He had to take a couple of shots while he was walking him down, but, man, by the 9th round, he was just connecting with flush. I mean, just flushes, and I was just screaming like an insane Puerto Rican. I was just excited to all ends.
Rosie, if you had to use a food to describe the fight, would you describe it as a steak, a filet mignon, or a burger?
Oh, gosh. I would say it was neither. I think it was somewhere in between. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Maybe a chicken fried steak. I don't know.
Chicken fried steak. That's
fried
delicious.
Bread,
yeah, that's pretty good right there. Yeah, that'll work. Panisado. Yeah, something in the middle there. Rosie Perez with us on ESPN Radio. I'm curious here. You recently did a project with Larry David. What was that experience like?
Oh, that was so much fun. That man is hysterical on and off the screen, and we had a great rapport. Not at first, to be honest, because he's, really weird, and you have to just, seriously, you have to accept it. You're like, okay, he's on another planet. Let me get into the ship and visit that planet so we can kind of, communicate on the same wavelength, if you will. And, but man, that man is strange as hell, and, but I loved him. He's so smart. And once he lets you in, he's a softie. He's a big softie, and he's very smart. And he did not follow the rules of Broadway at all, because once the book, meaning the script, once the book is set, you don't really deviate from it. Unless you're the playwright, but he's the playwright. So a couple of nights, I'm in the back, ready to go on, and he would pull my costume and go, Perez, say this. I go, say what? This. I wrote you some new lines. I go, are you kidding me? That's like I'm right about to walk on.
Right.
Just say it. And so I would go out and I would do what he says. I mean, he was the boss, you know what I mean? And it would kill every night. Every time he had something new, it would work. He was really amazing.
So when you say, though, that he's strange as hell, what? Can you give me an example?
Sure. He was sitting next to me for the first week of rehearsal, but then he moved because, I'm Puerto Rican. I like Caribbean food. I would bring, food, and he couldn't deal with the smell. And he would sit there and, yeah. And his eyebrows would keep going up and down while his nose was making these weird sounds and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? And he wouldn't answer me. He would just go, I go, what? It's like, oh, God.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's a good example. Rosie Perez, I mean, she is delightful. We really enjoyed talking to her. Last time she was on with us, she was telling us about all the weed that was being smoked on White Men Can't Jump. Is that where you had that uncomfortable nude scene with Woody Harrelson? Was that that had to be that movie, right?
The uncomfortable mood scene?
Right.
Or nude?
No, nude scene. Nude, where...
Are you going to ruin this, man?
No, I don't want to ruin this, but I just read somewhere that one time Woody was trying to coax you out.
Oh, yes. I was terrified to take off my clothes in front of Woody because, Woody's Woody, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the name is appropriate, you know what I'm saying? So,
yes, yeah, right. Yeah, he's a horn dog. Yeah, he's very, yes, understood.
Yes, okay. So he was way excited before we were about to shoot, so that just freaked me out.
Right.
And I said, you mean I have to be naked? And they're like, yeah, you got to be naked. And I was about to take off my clothes, and Woody went, oh, yeah. And I went, oh, my God. And I ran into the fake bathroom on set, and I wouldn't come out. Right. And they were like, give her some bourbon. I'm like, what? So I took the shot,
right.
And it still didn't work. I was as nervous as hell. And then Woody comes to the door, and in a nutshell, he was coaxing me out. He goes, come on, I totally respect you. I'm a total professional, and don't worry about it. Everyone here respects you. Come on out, please. I go, okay. I opened the door, and when I opened the door, the towel fell accidentally, and he went, oh, my God. And I slammed the door back on his face. It was just like, oh, Jesus.
I'll be professional and respectful. Rosie, thank you so much for making the time for us. We really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, and I hope all your listeners tune in to Triple G versus Canelo. That's a real fight, and it's going to be awesome, and it's September, and I'm going to lose my freaking mind. And once and again, I will just say Triple G. Thank you.
Well,
Good
wait,
night.
we'll talk to you then, right? We're going to talk to you to preview that fight, yes? Well,
Before and after.
You'll make a commitment to come back on and be our boxing analyst.
I sure will. It would be my honor.
All right, so before that fight, we will call you. Thank you, Rosie. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, hon. Bye. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Rosie.
Uncle Fuddy.
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
You look good when you back that ad up.
A great Larry David story.
Yeah, awesome.
So Larry David,
right?
All picture
Of course, he would be irritated and annoyed by the smell of delicious food.
And so Woody.
Don Le Batard.
Stugotz is disgusting.
Stugotz.
Yep.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Texter writes in, weren't you going to shout out a 90s rapper's name at Rosie? Yep, forgot. Totally forgot.
Yeah. Yep.
Whiffed.
Yep.
There was a story that she told about being stood up, and Tupac whisked in and took her. The clues she gave us was a former rapper who married someone who is now an actress. They are still friends. We'll have to ask her next time.
Yep.
You ready to update the polls at Le Batard Show?
I will be in 1 second.
So no is the answer. The answer is no, you're not ready.
That was a more efficient way of saying it. Yep.
At Le Batard Show, are you not familiar? This is how we end the show, like every day. And
yeah, but I didn't feel like we had a lot of polls up there today, so I wasn't certain if you were going to go to them. My apologies.
Or
it's on me. There's nothing wrong.
Spent the break stuffing chicken wings in your face.
That's it. I need the poll sponsor. It's brought to you by Upside. I know that, but I need the tagline. At Le Batard Show on Twitter. I'm almost there, Dan. Almost there.
So you're not ready at all, is what you're saying.
I'm almost there, though. I'll be there in 1 second. I'm there now. You ready? Are there Black Jonas?
I don't understand how it is that your incompetence keeps getting rewarded with comedic perfection.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Be on Mike and Mike tomorrow, 8:05. Anyway, are there Black Jonas? 64% of the audience said no. Was Mayweather versus McGregor a good fight? 58% of the audience said yes. Does Tom Brady feel guilt about slowly killing Edelman and Welker? A great question.
I mean, I think it's the only thing that keeps him up at night. That's the part of the deal with the devil that he has. Look, here's the deal, Tom. Everything in your life is going to be perfect, but slowly you're going to kill two of your best friends. Like, I believe that is the deal. That is the deal with Lucifer that Brady and the Patriots have made.
That's the deal he made with Art Briles. You're right. 70% of the audience said no. He doesn't feel any guilt about that. By the way, the Twitter poll is brought to you by Upside. Now say big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You love Upside.com. That is Upside.com. Is informing people that the Night King now has an ice dragon, something that has to be preceded by a spoiler alert. 57% of the audience said yes. I thought that number would be higher. Is Dickie V coming to your fight party, good or bad? Guys, this has never happened before.
No.
It has never,
I refuse to
ever
believe you.
happened.
You're going to say something right now, I'm just not going to believe it.
And there's a lot of votes on this.
I won't even react.
50-50.
No!
You said you weren't going to react.
And you reacted.
I can't.
Is that it?
No, we got some more. Should LeBron get front row wherever he goes? 57% of the audience said yes. Who's a bigger star, Steve Harvey or LeBron James?
You guys were so laughably wrong about this.
Well, we're talking to a sports audience, man.
Yeah.
This is not fair.
Really.
Not fair.
Yeah.
64% of the audience said LeBron James. It's not fair. Sports audience. If LeBron James gets to 6 championships, will he be worthy of sitting in front of Steve Harvey at the fight?
What a ridiculous show we do. Like, how does Disney allow this? All of it. Like, I want you to take inventory of what we're doing with these polls.
Well, 61% of the audience said if he does indeed get to 6 championships, he should be sitting in front of Steve Harvey.
All right, so they agree with us. Not yet.
Yes. 39% feel like he needs to get, what I was saying, needs to get to 11, subtract the 5 that he's lost, and then you're at 6. So 8 to go, I think.
You have been so bad this segment. Like, you should
carry the 4.
You should refund the amount of money that you were paid. You should send it back and just donate it to like a Disney cause or something. Whatever you got paid for this segment.
Yes, prorate it and send it to someone. Okay.
Send just like, I don't know.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this. 5 seconds. Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.